You're excited about the idea of moving abroad, but your partner isn't. They say, let's wait, or I'm not sure. You feel stuck between pushing and giving up. And if that's you, stay right here. I'm gonna walk you through 3 steps to handle this without the arguments, without guilt, or endless waiting. I'm Hannah, a relocation coach for thoughtful professionals and their partners. I help people find clarity before a move and confidence after it. I've lived abroad for 15 years across 4 continents and lost count of the moves that I've made within each country. I've had this exact conversation with my husband more times than I can count. You don't need to convince your partner. You need to understand what's really behind their hesitation. In this video, I'll show you 3 clear steps to move forwards when one of you isn't ready. First, identify the real reason for hesitation. Then we're going to create calm space for conversation, and lastly, make one shared next step. So stay until the end for the short script that I give my clients to start this talk right away. Okay, step 1, identify the real reason for the hesitation. What that can sound like is it's too risky. We can't afford it. What about the kids? These sound like practical reasons, but often they're actually emotional reasons in disguise. So ask yourself, is this about logistics or is it about loss? Logistics are things like visas or schools or money. The loss is more like identity, friends, routine, safety. And when you name what's going on underneath, you can talk to the real issue instead of circling around it through arguments. Let me give you a real example of how this can play out. So I work with a client whose partner kept on circling back to this one concern. We can't afford it. And on the surface, it sounded like a budget issue, right? So they'd run the numbers again, adjust the savings plan, look at the cost of living comparisons. But the conversation never moved forward. So after a few deeper, more honest chats, the real fear started to come out. And actually, he wasn't worried about the money running out. He was more worried about losing his sense of purpose. His job title gave him identity and respect. And moving meant starting all over. And he wasn't sure how he'd be able to do that. So once they named that, the conversation could shift. They could actually talk about what mattered, how he'd rebuild confidence, what kind of work would feel meaningful abroad, and how she could support that transition. All right, I'm going to offer a micro action here. Take a few minutes and write down what your partner might feel that they are losing, a fear of losing, not just practically, but emotionally. Things like identity, community, independence, or certainty. Then, next to each one, write what they might gain. Maybe it's freedom, adventure, a fresh start, or time together as a family. This isn't about convincing them. It's about seeing the full picture here. So when you do get to talk, you're speaking to what really matters. Moving on to step 2 is create calm space for conversation. This is a big one. You won't make progress in a rushed or heated talk. I'm going to say that again. You won't make progress in a rushed or heated talk. So pick a quiet moment. Leave the laptop closed. The phone is away. Don't try to squeeze this into a 10-minute before bed, between errands kind of conversation. My husband and I have found that our best conversations happen while we're walking our dog, who is looking like she's completely collapsed to the world right now, but she's just fast asleep here. So we're walking side by side, we're moving forwards together. There's no eye contact, which helps us. It takes away some of the pressure. Find what works for you, for both of you. Then go ahead and see if you can try this script. I'm not trying to convince you. I just want to understand what's hardest about the idea of moving. I'm going to listen and we can look at it together. So why this works? It lowers the defensiveness right off the bat. It makes space for both of you to be heard. So here's some guidelines. Avoid talking when either of you is really tired or stressed. Listen without fixing. And then reflect back what they say. This is a really powerful coaching tool that I use with my clients that definitely helps them feel heard and understood. So a little example, if they say, "I'd miss my friends," you might respond with something like, "I know how much your friends mean to you." Let's talk about ways in which you could stay connected with them. Or if your partner says, I don't know if I can start my career over, you might say something like, yeah, I get it. That does feel really scary if I think about it. What would help you feel more confident about it? Step 3, make one shared next step. Once you've talked honestly, agree on one joint action, not the full move, just a next step. So I'm going to run through some options that you might like to work with. Maybe you are in a position where you can actually test run the place that you're planning on moving to. Maybe you're able to stay for one day. Maybe it's longer. If you have the luxury, the ability, it's a week, maybe even up to a month in that place that you want to move to, and try to live like a local. You could write a hopes and fears list together. So writing down what excites you, what worries each of you. Maybe you could book yourself a consultation with a relocation coach. Someone like myself can help you through it. You might like to watch expat videos together. Maybe you're keeping up with local videos on the place that you're trying to move to. And that keeps the momentum going without the pressure. So an example of this is that someone that I work with, she wanted to move to Spain so that she could be nearer to her family. And her partner kept saying, maybe later, maybe later. And every time she brought it up, he would just deflect it and go quiet. So we tried something different, and they tried a 30-day pause. So she stopped talking about it. She stopped pushing. And there was a clear end date that they had. So she agreed to stop mentioning the move, and he agreed to spend 20 minutes a week looking into one practical aspect of that potential move. So maybe that's looking into visas, the cost of living, perhaps it was starting to look at jobs, whatever kind of felt manageable to both of them. So taking off the pressure, no big conversation about it, just some quiet exploration for him, 30 days. And by the time they sat down again, something had started to shift. He had had the space. He'd dedicated time to it and created space. He didn't have her breathing down, pressurizing, and he made sure that he did the time. And he came back to the table with a few visa options that were possible, and he'd even researched some of the neighborhoods as well. So he wasn't fully ready, but he was moving towards, and that's what we're hoping for, right? That's what this step is actually all about. It's creating a forward motion without force. So a little micro action for you: agree on your next date or a task now and make it specific. Not, we're going to talk about it soon. Actually pick a date. Pick a topic of that move that you're going to talk about. Write it down somewhere so that you can both see it. It could be as simple as, let's meet for coffee on the 15th of December, and you're going to share one thing that you've learned this month about that relocation. Keep it visible, keep it light, and keep it moving. It's normal for couples to feel like they're at different stages of readiness. My husband and I, we work at very different paces, and we focus naturally on very different aspects of each move. I'm a quick, let's make our mind up person, and he's a let's circle and make sure that it's perfect kind of person. But I'm hoping that the biggest takeaway from today is that you don't need total agreement, especially right now. You need a mutual respect so that you can start to make a way forward. Big moves test our communication, but they can also strengthen it. And if you lead with curiosity instead of control, then I think you're onto a winner. So at this point, I'm going to ask you to pick one of these small actions to try this week. So firstly, you could list what your partner fears of losing and gaining. It might be useful for yourself as well. Secondly, use the calm script to start the next talk. Come from a place of listening rather than controlling. And then thirdly, agree on one shared next step with a date attached to it. If you can do even one of these actions, you're going to feel the tension just hopefully really ease this week for you. You don't need your partner to be as ready as you are. You just need both of you to stay open. If this helped, the next video will show you how to prepare emotionally for a move once you've decided to go. So click into part 5 now and I'll see you over there. And for more steady monthly guidance, do go ahead and join my newsletter. You can find the links in the description box below.